Good day. Welcome to another edition of Spotlight on Mahopac Schools. I'm Eric Gross, your host, along with Superintendent of Schools Anthony DiCarlo. Social distancing, wearing face coverings, because we're living in a new world, unfortunately.
Yeah, we are, very unfortunately. I mean, this health crisis and COVID-19 has made us adjust to a lot of different things, from social distancing to remote learning, as we talked about a couple of months ago. We're doing what needs to be done to protect the safety and well-being of the public, yet still providing, a high-quality educational program.
Each day, Governor Cuomo gets on the air about 11:30, 12 o'clock and comes out with some new announcement. The most recent, of course, was that all schools in New York State will not reopen for the current school year. But yet you want people to know that distance learning is still taking place in the Mahopac schools.
Yes, so the reason why the schools are closed is because what we just talked about. You can't have groups of kids together in school physically. However, the school year still continues till June 26th. And what's so important to everybody, we have to get our students ready for the following grade level come September. School is not over. And in my weekly updates, I continue to talk about the importance of getting on, doing the best you can do, getting on a daily basis so that you can keep up with what you need to get ready for upon ending this grade, but most importantly, getting ready for next year. So that's very, very important, Eric.
You talk about next year. That's a $64,000 question. What goes through your mind on a daily basis now? This year, the last several months till the end of the year, lost in the fact that school is open, but yet the children are not in the classroom. What's going to happen this summer?
Eric, it's going to be, a lot of it again is going to be driven by guidance from the governor, guidance from the CDC. Don't forget, we're in May. You have May, June, July, and August. You have 4 months. And as we know, things are changing from day to day. So for me to sit here and to give you a definite answer, no. I think it's going to be a hybrid. I don't think we're going to stop social distancing come the fall. I think it'll be a hybrid of students in a specific group, not everybody. So it may be a hybrid. Notice I use the word may, because things can change. It could be a hybrid. It could be some days in school, some days remote learning, and you are rotating through the course of a week. And those are some of the things that, I think everybody is looking at right now, but without any definitive answer as we go through. What does busing look like? How do you social distance on the bus? What does that look like? I mean, we're going to be working on, over the next number of months, protocols for cleaning, protocols for, if we have to take temperatures, separating kids in nurses' offices, that's going to look different. So there's going to be a variety of different things as we go through the next 4 months, but it's not going to be the same as we knew it before, the beginning of March happened. It's going to look different. It's going to look very different.
Just looking at you and I today, it's different. And these face masks drive you crazy.
Yeah.
We're adults. How will this affect children?
Well, that's the big issue. Let's be honest with one another. Developmentally, how are you going to get a kindergartner and a first grader to keep a mask on the entire day? But if you're social distancing and there's a limited amount of students, it's not 22 or 23, but maybe it's 11, it may be somewhat easier. But what a lot of it's going to be is education, Eric. I mean, we're going to have to educate our staff for what that looks like. We're going to have a lot of kids coming back to school. Teachers are like a second mom or dad. They've seen them on, the computer screen, but they haven't really seen them in person. There are going to be a lot of social, emotional transitions as we come back into school for the kids, for the teachers, for the staff. So there'll be a lot of professional learning over the summer. There are going to be specifics. We have to re-educate our kids K to 12, what it means to be, hygiene in regards to how you sneeze, how you cough, how you wash your hands, how you may have to flow in the school. You may have one hallway that's got, one way, another hallway's got another. These are all questions that are going to be looked at and further developed upon coming to school in September.
And of course, the financial aspect. We're going to be talking about the upcoming budget here in the Mahopac schools. Votes take place in June this year, not May.
Yeah.
Sandra Klahussi will be with us, the Assistant Superintendent for Business. But this too is your
Well,
hair's
this is
getting grayer
yeah,
by the minute.
Yeah, I am, and my hair is longer because I can't cut my hair. Anyway, this is a big issue, and I really want to explain this to the public. The governor came out with a new executive order this past weekend, and it's got major impacts on budget. And we'll go over that in a second, but I need you to understand something. We get one vote this year, June 9th. If the budget goes down, we go to austerity. There is not a second vote, and this community knows what austerity is all about. But Eric, what's compounding it now is that we have to mail to everybody, whether you're a registered voter or not, a ballot. So we're going to be sending out over 20,000 mailers, okay, for people to vote. So we're used to more or less maybe about 5,000 people voting, and you have to go out of your way to come to vote. Now people are going to be able to vote, and we're going to send out our newsletter and all the other things, but the implications and what we're trying to do, and the board is working hard and we're working hard, is presenting a budget that we know now. In 2 weeks, Eric, this year, the governor and his, the Office of Budget has 4 chances that they can actually cut the budget again. So we're being asked to develop a budget on what ifs, and then along the way, June 30th, well, actually next week, May 15th, June 30th, December 31st, and March 31st, we may get cuts. So we've never seen anything like it before in presenting a budget. It's trying to hit a moving target. But the issue is, Eric, we're trying to work hard to keep the programs we started to get back over the last 3 years. The momentum we're going to see about how great things are happening district-wide academically. We're being recognized as top high school, not only in the state, but the country. We want to keep that momentum going forward. Understanding, though, at what the taxpayer can afford, okay? And that's the balancing act. Plus, we could get cut during the course of the year and not know what that cut could be. So it is going to be a very, very difficult 2021 budget. Very, very difficult.
But there's some good news.
Yep.
Good news. The valedictorian, the salutatorian of the class of 2020 are with us today, thanks to Zoom, thanks to our friends Stosh and Melody and their fine help. So let's take a break and talk to our good friends over here, the Val and Sal of the class of 2020. We're here with our valedictorian and salutatorian of the class of 2020. And Anthony, Matt Lawrence, the Mayapack High School principal, was telling us the other night that Tommy O'Brien, throughout his high school career, has proven to be a stellar student, dedicated to achieving great academic success and being an active member of the school community. While Matt Longo is an exceptionally intelligent, focused, and rounded young man who's very humble. What are your dealings with these two stellar scholars?
Well, it's a credit to both Matt and for Tommy. This is not just senior year. This is 13 years of getting to this point. So I can't express, what goes into being the Val and Sal of a high school. The number of years of dedication, both work during the school day, after the school day. They're both very involved with activities outside of the academic part of what they do. And that's really what I mean by the Mayapack way. These two young men, Tommy and Matt, represent what Mayapack is all about. And I can't be prouder than the both of them. I know the Board of Education, the entire community is just, elated about what's going on and what they're doing. We're proud of them. They've really shown who they are. And I'm confident that they're going to go on and be very successful, not only in college, but when they get to life.
Tommy, Matt, how did you do it?
Well, it all starts, you got to believe in yourself. When you put in a lot of hard work, it's shocking how much you can achieve. And it goes to show how much you can achieve when you put your mind to something and truly work hard for it.
What about you, Tommy?
Yeah, so I've had a lot of support from my teachers, my friends, and my parents especially. And I also put in a lot of hard work and dedication. And there were some obstacles, but I just pushed through them and do whatever I can to get the best grades possible.
And Matt and Tommy, when did it click with both of you that you said to yourself, you know what, I'm a pretty good student? When did that happen?
Well, from a young age, I knew my strongest talent was math, and then as I continued through middle school and high school, using my math oriented brain, I was always interested in the math and science classes, and I always studied hard and did all my homework to the best of my ability. Then I always got good grades and high honor roll, and it just shows you when you try for something how much you can achieve.
That's great. Matt?
I'd say I realized that I was an exceptional student probably around middle school, because in elementary school I just hated failing, so I always did the best I could to just get everything right, because that's all I wanted to do. And then came middle school. I had a little bit of obstacles, but I pushed through it and learned from those failures. And I feel that has made me become a great student from high school.
And what's so special, too, for these two young men is the fact they're so well-rounded in their community as well, volunteering in the community, in the school community, in the public community. How do you guys have time for all this?
Well, it's always hard to manage your time, but you got to make sure you're always staying focused. Throughout the year, I play sports year-round. I ran cross country in the fall, then I played basketball in the winter. And unfortunately, the cross season was taken from me this year, but I've always been playing sports year round and always been active in clubs and all community work. And just, you always got to stay focused. Sometimes you got to sacrifice sleep to achieve everything you want to do, but you'll make up on sleep, and you just got to keep focusing, stay focused, and be productive so you don't waste any time.
Matt?
Yeah, so I usually always try to get 8 hours of sleep, but sometimes I just know that's not possible as a 3-sport athlete and always trying to be at the top of my academics. So I just sacrifice some sleep, and I set up a schedule so I stick to that so that I save my time and I can get through the day efficiently.
And two prestigious colleges these young men are off to in the fall. Notre Dame, become an Irishman over there, Mr. Luongo. Looking forward to it.
So Matt, where are you going? And Tom, where are you going?
I'm attending the University of Notre Dame.
Awesome, Tom. That's great. And Matt?
I'm going to the University of Southern California.
So you guys could be playing each other every year because Notre Dame plays USC, and you guys could kind of go back and forth. That's awesome. That's great. That's awesome. Two great. What?
For football, I think they play every year.
Yeah, they do. They play every year. That's great. Wow. Unbelievable. Val and Sal going in ND and USC and possibly playing each other every year. That's great. So Eric, this is a perfect example, and I don't know if these two young men know this yet, but Mahopac High School this year, actually this past month, got 2 prestigious awards. We were recognized by US News and World Report, US News and World Report, as a top 2020 high school in the nation. And then literally a week after that, we got the New York State Recognition School Award for being a high-performing high school. And these two young men are examples of how that was able to happen. So not only do I congratulate you, Matt and Tom, I congratulate the entire class of 2020 and the entire underclassmen for making this happen, because that's an incredible accomplishment for Mahopac to get those 2 prestigious awards. And a lot of that is a credit to the two of you. And I know your parents are so, enthralled with getting these incredible honors. And we're working hard. I mean, I want to let you, Matt, and I want to let you, Tommy, know that we're really working hard to make sure we recognize the entire class of 2020, academic awards, athletic awards, and graduation. Mr. DiCarlo is really working hard behind the scenes. As long as the Department of Health allows me to do what I want to do, probably the next couple of weeks you'll hear about how we're going to try to do that. But I want to let you know from the bottom of my heart, I know it's not been easy, not just for you, but the entire class, as you mentioned, Tommy, to have sports taken away, to have some other things taken away because of this health crisis. But we're going to try our best to make sure we recognize not only the two of you individually, but the entire class of 2020.
We wish you
Thank
guys
you. I
the
appreciate
best
that.
of luck. Best
Thank
of
you.
luck next year in school and in your future endeavors. And we always like to say here on the program, the graduates, that's the culmination of 13 years of hard work. But I know you guys also want to thank your elementary teachers and middle school teachers for leading you to this path today.
Yeah, without all my teachers, parents, and coaches, family, and all peers helping me through this, I wouldn't have been able to receive this award today. And especially even from like pre-K to elementary school, all my teachers there and all the middle school teachers, they helped develop me into the student I am today, and I'm really appreciative of that.
What about you, Tom? Matt, I'm sorry.
So this honor like only counted the last 4 years of high school, but I'm especially thankful for my elementary and middle school teachers because they helped greatly develop me into a good student and a wonderful person too.
And listen, this cannot have been scripted. We didn't do this purposely. Today is National Teacher Appreciation Day. The entire week is National Appreciation
Right.
Week, but today happens to be that day. And the two of you giving testimony to both your elementary, middle, and high school teachers for putting in the time and efforts to make you who you are. And I also want to say to your parents, congratulations to them, because behind every Valor Sal is a mom and dad from the beginning who saw your talents, who saw your passion, and who love you from the bottom of my heart. So I want to congratulate your parents also for their accomplishment and an outstanding job in raising both two fine young men. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank
Be
you.
well.
Thank you.
Well, the budget preparation is in full swing, and joining us is Sandra Colhesi, the Assistant Superintendent of Schools for Business here in Mayapack. Sandra, how are things coming along with this budget that is upside down, topsy-turvy, you name it?
Well, we're all working very hard. The entire management team, the principals, directors, everybody is trying to find ways to create efficiencies so we can keep our program and keep our staff. We're working through attrition, which is when someone retires, if we do not replace them, then we have that savings. So we are trying very hard to work through that process. We're still waiting, of course, from New York State to see what's going to happen with the state aid. And we're also looking at waiting for the federal government to come through with hopefully a stimulus package that if we lose state aid, that will be replaced. Similar to back in like 2008, 2009, when the federal government brought in the American Recovery Act, Recovery and Reinvestment Act, which supplemented the money that the governor had cut back then.
It must be maddening for you, not knowing, there are so many variables here. We want to provide the best education possible for students that the community can afford, but yet you're on that narrow line all the time.
It is a balancing act. We are always trying to take the taxpayer into account as well as the students. So yes, we need to take care of everyone, and it is a difficult balancing act, especially when we have so much that's unknown.
What do you want to add to that, Anthony? You work with the Board of Education daily.
Yeah, so, this board and over the last, believe it or not, 3.5 years, America, imagine, 3.5 years that I'm here. We've really, really worked hard to start the Put Back program. We adopted a strategic plan. We talked about continuity of instruction K to 12. We talked about the importance of a comprehensive high school. I mentioned to you that we're seeing the impact of it. We're being recognized now. And so we don't want to have to take a step backwards. But we do know we're in a financial crisis. So how do you balance that? What does that look like? And how do you make the two try to come together with what we want to continue to do, and yet being able to, in this health crisis time, make it to be affordable for the taxpayer? And that's the work that we're trying to do to the best of our ability. But as you know, Eric, when I first got here, I talked about right-sizing the district. So we're continuing through attrition, and that's what we're able to do. I mean, we're down a middle school team. We're down, teachers at the elementary school level as our enrollments had gone down. So we're trying to do the same type of thing so we don't have to start to lay off teachers and then have our class sizes go up. Because Eric, like I mentioned before, we have one vote. If we go to austerity, that means reduction in staff. That means higher class sizes. That means anybody wanting to use our buildings now has to pay for it. That means the possibility of eliminating sports, and we know what's gone on with this town before. I don't want to have to get there. This is probably the most important budget vote that this community might have ever had because of the situation we're in. So my job and Sandra's job is try to the best of our ability, present that budget. Because remember something, after this goes by, here's what's going to happen, Eric. We're going to see a boom in the suburbs. I really, really strongly think that the way that the world has changed for education, it's changing, especially for New York. People have now become accustomed in businesses from working from home. There are going to be a lot of individuals no longer have to go on Metro North or the subway because they're going to work from home. And because of density, people are going to want to get out of the city and come to the suburbs. I think in the next 2 to 5 years, you're going to see the suburbs start to boom. So it's to me, it's very frustrating because we're at this point in time now where we don't want to have to cut, but we may be forced because of the economic crisis. But yet 2 or 3 years down the road, we're going to see the tick going up. So it's very dichotomous. I know the Mahopac community, and I always talk about the Mahopac way. We value what we offer here with our kids. And I'm not just talking about academics. I'm talking about extracurricular activities. That's what we pride ourselves in both. And that's what makes us so special. These kids, especially the kids that are coming back who have suffered so much, these juniors and sophomores and seniors, and everybody, right? I don't want to have to now tell them I got to take all these things away from you. I don't. So we're trying to maintain the programs, but it's going to really be important that the voters get out. Not get out. Actually, open the envelope and vote. Because this is important, Eric. There's no voting this year in person. It's all going to be done by mail. Yep. And we have to receive those ballots back by June 9th at 5 o'clock. And then we'll see where we go from there. But, we're accustomed to 2 votes. Well, if it goes down the first time, we can trim it.
Right.
No, there is no choice. And that's something that we really have to get the public to understand.
Sandra, one other point. Anthony and I were talking about this a few minutes ago. The fact that the state aid will be sent down now, it can't be cut midstream.
Yes.
How do you plan for something like that?
Well, we hope to be able to save some funds from this year that could help us to weather that storm. So, as people talk about, there is fund balance, the school district. We are appropriating fund balance, but if we are able to save money from this year, we hope to keep fund balance stable and then also be able to have some reserves so that when those costs hit or that the revenue drops, that we can use some of that reserve. If we put all of that reserve out now, we would leave ourselves with nothing to then weather that storm. And the next 2 years are going to be very crucial. It's not just this year, it's the following year. When the economy goes down, the retirement funds, the percentage that they cost go up, as well as health benefits. All of those things are going to continue to increase, and the next 2 years are crucial to not throw every dime we have at the moment at the budget. Because once you do that, you don't have anything, and once you cut, it takes a long time to get things back. And we just want to try and make it as stable as we can, so that when this all comes to fruition, and hopefully not, hopefully the federal government comes in and bails us out, because that's what we really need at this point. But we have to have something just in case. People will call it, I'm sorry, I'm going to bring it up. They'll say it's a rainy day fund, or it's it's not a rainy day fund. It is a very important part of the financial picture, and we need to have a stable foundation to get through the next couple of years.
So our advice to our voters, our viewers out there, would be contact your federal representatives. Contact Senators Schumer, Gillibrand, contact Congressman Maloney, and ask them, demand that this federal money come forth for education.
Part of the problem, Eric, is it's not going to come forth until they're first cut by the state. So, that's what the next week or two we're going to find out from the budget, Office of Budget, from Mr. Mojica, what that original cut is. And then based on that, we'll be able to go out to the public with a number. But as Sandra said, it's the short game and the long game. And you have to balance it out. Because you can do something short term that's going to then affect you in the long term. And what does that look like? Remembering that there could be 4 cuts. Mm-hmm. So how much is enough? And that's what we're trying to deal with. But like I said, I am very concerned about the social, emotional well-being of our students. And what that's going to look like come the fall, both academically, extracurricular, and social emotional. Because these kids have already gone through a lot. And now to take more stuff away from them, it could be just devastating.
Sorry, such a down note today, but we thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you for having
Sandra,
me.
and we'll have you back again, we're sure, in the next couple of weeks once these numbers come forward.
Right, we'll have more to say.
Yeah.
once
Anthony
we
and
know.
I will be right back to wrap things up. You stay tuned. We have to have some good news on a kind of a down program. Some honors and recognitions by students in the Mahopac schools. Vincent Vitanza, you want to give him a shout out? National Merit Scholarship finalist.
Yeah, Vincent, we celebrated Vincent in the beginning when he was a semifinalist, then he's a finalist, and now he got full merit scholarship, full ride for 4 years to Fordham University. Just a great honor. Again, we talked about this before with our Val and Sal's, with Matt and Tommy, just a tribute to the community, to Vincent and his family and his hard work in getting such a great, great honor.
Young lady by the name of Mirka Morga, also involved, Binghamton University's first-year student research immersion program. She's part of the BOCES program.
Yeah, Mahopac has been really very, very fortunate, and I think it's a tribute to our science department as well as what's happening over BOCES, to be able to get involved in the sciences, especially as a young lady, and be able to go to Binghamton and get into their research program is just, that's a great honor. So, congratulations to her, and her hard work and her passion is unbelievable.
And so many kids are doing good things in the Mahopac. The high school students, Danny Lynch, for instance, also a BOCES young man, and his spare time, he is actually working at area delicatessens, feeding medical personnel in New York City.
Yeah, you hear this all the time about communities stepping up and helping out with the first responders. And we say this all the time. We have great kids here at Mahopac, and that's an example of it, not just from an academic point of view, but from giving back to others, in time of need. And it's just a tribute to this young man and doing that and understanding the passion and compassion for others who are going through a very, very difficult time, who are on the front line, who are dealing with this COVID-19 every single day.
Well, the American Cancer Society, sadly, has canceled its 3 Relays for Life. And of course, the granddaddy of them all took place right here at Mahopac High. And for all those years, we did a show, the last show of the year, right on the field. But you're urging people to support the American Cancer Society.
Yes, very much so.
nevertheless.
To support them, and I've been in concert with the leaders, and as soon as we're able to have an event, and go back to where we used to be able to do, we're looking forward to doing that. But what happens in these times, Eric, and you mentioned it very well, and thank you. Sometimes some of the things that we normally do and under a crisis situation take for granted, there are still people who are sick and who need help, and we need the research to be able to combat this, to combat cancer and hopefully eradicate it. So it's really important that if we can be able to donate during these difficult times, it would be very, very much appreciated.
Well, Superintendent of Schools Anthony DiCarlo, a potpourri of activities today, as we say, and again, congratulations to the Val and Sal. Stay tuned. We'll have more information for you dealing with budgetary issues, the vote coming up in June, and any other events taking place on the state level affecting the Mahopac School District. So for Superintendent Anthony DiCarlo, what's your wish, by the way? We always ask you that. But
Yeah, well,
especially
my
at a
wish
time
is
like
that everybody
this.
stay safe, and peace and health to you and your families. Please remember to continue to social distance at all times. I will tell you that, in the last number of weeks, Eric, I've gotten some phone calls with regards to a number of people that are up at the school and not social distancing. And listen, we want to make sure we have that curve flattened and it doesn't come up. So we need to make sure we follow those rules and regulations. If we all do that, we can do certain things and certain events can take place because we won't have people that are infected. So please, please remember to follow what those guidelines are. They're there for a reason, because we do want to be able to get back to whatever that new normal may be.
Stosh, we thank you. Thank you one and all for joining us for this edition of Spotlight on Mahopac Schools. I'm Eric Gross. Be safe, be careful, take care of yourselves. Until next time, bye-bye now.
For more information, please visit our website, www.mahopac.k12.ny.us.